Power practice is one of the 6 yoga of Naropa. In terms of completion stage, traditionally speaking, completion stage is based on the 6 yoga of Naropa. Shampa, Kagyu, or other tradition practice the 6 yoga of Nyingma, simpler version of it. That's also beautiful. So you know the Naropa, right? Naropa's time. There are lots of different kind of completion stage practice here and there. Lots of tantric practice are going on at that time. Sometimes imagine if I were there, maybe I was there. I don't know. Just anyway, lots of tantric practice and weird one or kind of esoteric practice. Then Naropa came up, brought condensed into the 6 kinds, then called the 6 Dharma, 6 discipline or 6 yogas of Naropa. So those 6 are main ones. One of those 6 is Poa, but Poa comes later in that 6 yogas. And the first one is the Tummo. Tummo is the basis of all 5, rest of 5 advanced completion stage practice. Basis of Tummo is the first practice we enter. Then, of course, part of the Tummo is the Turko, these physical exercises I already started introducing in our community. So then go into the actual Tummo contemplation practice. Based on the different completion stage practice follows. But in terms of Vajrayogini, emphasis is the Mother Tantra, right? So emphasis is the clear light practice. This Tummo practice is very important in Vajrayogini. If you look at the Vajrayogini's body, she is wearing the dried garland, not the wet one. Another Vajrayogini, for example, dancing Vajrayogini, Vajravarahi version of Vajrayogini, they're wearing the freshly cut, freshly severed head, and then blood dripping. But in the case of Vajrayogini, emphasis is so much on the Tummo practice and bliss and clear light. So the skull head is dried up because of that heat. Vajrayogini produced as inner heat, Tummo heat. Fierce ladies that transform desire, also importance of desire and the transformation of desire. Yeah, Tummo is a basis. Then the Poa. So in terms of Vajrayogini completion stage practice, Tummo, clear light, and the Poa practice, the transference of consciousness. Those are important. So then how to go about it? Method. Meditation on the path. First, we have to control over or gain mastery over the inner wind. How to gather the inner wind into the central channel. The method is called Tummo, including yoga of channel, drops, wind, including yoga exercises, or the Charun Tikre exercises and Turko exercises. There are stages, very clear stages of Tummo practices, visualizing central channel, so forth, and the Tummo leader, and blazing the Tummo fire, and purifying imperfections, and finally generate an experience of great bliss and emptiness. When the reddish-black ram, there are a few methods, which seed syllable or what to meditate on in terms of Tummo. Sometimes we meditate on Atun, but Atun is like a triangle kind of shape on the navel center, 4 finger wells below the navel inside. Or in this case, Ram, black letter Ram, that Ram is the seed syllable for fire, RAM, residing in the center of 3 channels at my navel. So instead of Atun, and Ra, and top, crescent moon, and drop, bindu, nada, this squiggle going. Same as a bang on the top, bang has like this, like same. This ram, M, and basically is that ram residing in the center of the 3 channels at my navel, has been raised by my upper lower wind. When we the base breathing, so we're gonna bring the upper wind down, lower wind up, then creating some kind of a pot. I often talk about the pressure cooker, the kind of pressure cooker. In there, set up raised by my upper and lower wind, and it's cleansing fire has burned away the 72,000 impure elements. May my central channel be completely filled with pure drop. So that's describing the kind of process of Tummo practice very briefly. Then having centralized the inner wind, once the inner wind is coming to the center, how we can progress. That's not the end of the story, right? Then how to progress along the actual path. Then first one, how to develop, improve great bliss. Then how to develop and improve the rainbow body and so forth. I didn't write down here the detail. We are not there yet, just briefly outline. In terms of result is a 5 path, 5 stages. So this is based on the Guhya Samaja explanation. Very important in a system in the Geru tradition. Tantric college monks devote these things, but these deserve the more elaborate explanation, but I'm not going to do that now. Recently, Gavin, translator, finally published a translation of the Ramatsongkhapa's commentary to Guhya Samaja on this, called Limga Seldon, clear illustration of the 5 paths. And this much thick book. When I was young, I was so inspired. But then this is really based on this Guhya Samaja Tantra, which I don't practice. It's very complicated. So how many hands and head. So I just settled with Vajrayogini and Helka. But in our tradition, very important 5 stages. Just that, maybe that much you need to know for now. And the yoga of wind, those are really emphasizes. I'm so happy to come to this point. So not only theoretical learning from the book, from the bookshelf, but we are able to put into our own practice and come to some kind of taste. Ramayashi used to say, get the taste the chocolate. So that's what the modern practitioner need to do, get that some kind of taste of chocolate without any like a hesitation or, oh, this is, some kind of mystifying or too much into the conceptual idea. Just understand enough to put into our practice, put on test, so to speak. So that's kind of ear whisper tradition to keep it simple. We are not the monks or nuns and have a 24 hours entire time. Although once we kind of keep going, then 24 hours become a practice, even sleeping. What I mean is simpler the better. Also, we as a practitioner have to be ready for that, right? This is Tantra, which is self-secret. No matter how much we want to practice, advanced practice does not unfold, doesn't ring a bell or, doesn't make sense or some kind of distractions, not interested in, or maybe first week we excited about, then gave up on easily, or all kind of distractions. That's a part of the thing. It's important to have the pure motivation and try to make ourselves a vessel for this kind of practice.
I'm surprised that as you went over all this, that I didn't have this confusion or all the conceptual, as you would say, overlays. It almost already felt experiential. I kind of feel, hear, see just rich, fertile ground there that I'm curious about, and possibilities to go deeper and in the practice. So
yeah, that's why when I started, Dakinis Whisper from day one, parallel to the Dakinis Whisper teaching or traditional lineage teaching, I wanted a direct experiential class or the subtle body training. So many of you who attended my class have already have a basis, and what tasting chocolate feels like, or the importance of that as well. So that's good. So it doesn't become a too much traditional, get a heavy-weighted theoretical understanding. We not ended up. We have that aspect as well. Very clear, precise, elaborated explanation of, for example, emptiness and so forth. But without being caught by that, we practice, put into our own level, whatever we can chew on. That's good.